theme of the project was to find two Dutch masters' portraiture paintings that we like the look of and emulate these within the studio with a modern twist. I thought that this theme was quite interesting because I personally had never come across a modern twist to such classical and important paintings. So I was quite keen to explore. The part of the project I enjoyed the most was definitely making the props for pre-production stage. I really enjoyed planning out how to make these props for each image that I picked. New techniques that I have experienced are making and creating props to put on the model to wear, and this really made me think outside the box because I was using things like plastic bags, tissue paper, cardboard, cardigans, and even a crop top at one stage. The technique that I would like to develop further, I think, is relating back to the last studio project, which is just continuing to understand lighting and the way the light behaves. I'm getting more confident with it as time goes on, but I would like to develop this further. I did look at some photographers. It was in the presentation we were shown, and I thought it was particularly cool how some of the photographers that had taken images had made use of things like toilet roll holder, and all, obviously throughout the course of lockdown, which had a bit of a comical effect, obviously due to the toilet rolls shortage, and I thought that that was quite funny, but also it did inspire me to really think outside the box when and just get creative as possible when it came to making my props. I got some feedback from classmates who thought that my images were quite strong. They were quite impressed with how I managed to create the props in particular. I also had some non-photographer friends who I showed these images to, and again, they hadn't really had any prior knowledge that emulations of paintings were actually a genre, and they found that really interesting and thought that my images were quite strong as well. I feel the most successful part of the project is definitely the pre-production part for me, because I planned quite well and researched each artist in depth. I did learn quite a lot about the artists and their inspirations, and I thought that was really quite fascinating. I also think that the making props part of the project went particularly well for me. I encountered some problems in my project because I had tried out a couple of different images, not just the two that I selected in the end, and I did find that I wasn't very happy with the images that I did not select and the reference pictures that I did not use. I wasn't happy with the lighting, wasn't too pleased with the composition, so I've been trying to look at it as a learning curve. I did learn from any mistakes that I did make with regards to lighting, and persevered with getting the composition correct. With regards to habits of the mind, I would say I was definitely inquisitive, as I challenged assumptions, because I think it was more a personal thing, as I thought that I wouldn't be able to think very creatively, but I did with regards to making the props, I definitely explored and investigated quite well. I also questioned why the original artist painted and composed the way that they did for each image, which kind of helped me get a deeper understanding of the paintings. With regards to skills for the future, I would say curiosity and creativity are definitely my two main sticking points. If I were to do this again in the future, I would definitely take much more images than I did for the contact sheets, because I think I didn't take as much because I wasn't feeling very adequate and my confidence wasn't that great. But I am actively trying to work on this and produce an array of images, so I have a larger selection to pick from than what I did end up with. With regards to any kind of technical issues, I think exposure, highlight and shadow were definitely things that I needed to kind of look more at. Although these images are quite dark toned, as evidenced by the histograms, I would like in the future to maybe have a bit more mid-tones in it, and maybe a balance of white tones to balance out the black. I think if I had to do this again, I would maybe research a couple more artists, a couple more classic paintings, and continue to push myself creatively, and perhaps get models of different skin tones as well. I think that would be quite interesting. And perhaps models of different ages. So, for example, using my younger brother, that might be quite interesting to do.